I went into the death tunnel at Waverly Hills thinking it was just another abandoned hallway, but halfway down, everything changed. The air turned freezing cold, my flashlight started dying, and I kept hearing someone breathing behind me, even though I was alone. When I finally reached the bottom, I saw something standing in the dark, tall, twisted, with a face that didn't look human. And the moment it turned toward me, whispering in hundreds of overlapping voices, I realized it wasn't trapped in that tunnel. It followed me home. And every night since, it taps on my bedroom wall. I never planned on going to Waverly Hills that night. It was supposed to be a simple urban exploration trip, get some footage, scare a few friends, and prove the whole death tunnel thing was just another internet myth. The problem started when one of my friends dared me. Go alone. If you're not scared, prove it. I shouldn't have listened. But pride makes you do stupid things. I arrived just after 11 p.m., parking far enough from the main entrance in case security drove by. The air outside the abandoned hospital felt strangely still, like even the wind didn't want to go near it. Broken windows stared down at me like hollow eyes. I slipped through a rusted side door and instantly felt the temperature drop. Inside, everything echoed too much, my footsteps, my breathing, even the small clicks from my flashlight bouncing off the walls. The hallway stretched forever, peeling paint curling off like dead skin. Every doorway looked like a mouth, waiting for me to pass so it could swallow me. My goal was simple: reach the death tunnel, walk it alone, get to the bottom, record the whole thing, and walk out laughing. But even before I reached the tunnel's entrance, I heard something that made the hair on my arms lift. A soft, rhythmic tapping. Not random. Not natural. It sounded intentional. That was the moment I should have turned around. But instead, I went in deeper. The entrance to the death tunnel looked like the open throat of something ancient and starving. A long concrete slope disappeared into darkness, wider than I expected, colder than it should have been. I hesitated at the top, shining my flashlight down the tunnel. The beam didn't reach the bottom. It just got swallowed. I hit record on my phone and took the first step inside. Instantly, the sound of my footsteps changed. They didn't echo normally. They stretched, bouncing strangely, like the tunnel was bending the sound. 20 feet down, the tapping returned, but this time, it wasn't behind me. It was above me. I stopped, shining the light upward. The ceiling curved high above, thick with shadow. For half a second, and I still don't know if my mind made it up, I saw something pull itself across the ceiling. Something long. Bent. Wrong. I felt pressure behind me, like someone exhaling down my spine. But when I turned, the tunnel behind me was empty. The deeper I went, the colder it got. Not like winter cold, a wet, heavy cold that clung to my skin. My breath came out in fog, drifting slowly, unnaturally slow. Halfway down the tunnel, my phone buzzed in my pocket. Unknown number. No message. I ignored it. But the tunnel suddenly felt a lot less empty. By the time I reached the midpoint of the tunnel, my nerves were already shot. Every step felt like I was walking deeper into something that didn't want me there. Then my flashlight flickered. Not a normal flicker, but a pulse. Like the light was reacting to something I couldn't see. I swept the beam across the curved ceiling, and that's when I saw it clearly for the first time. A shape clinging to the concrete overhead. Long arms tucked against the ceiling, legs bent like an insect, its head hanging down, facing me. Its eyes, if they were eyes, were just black holes reflecting my light. I froze. My brain refused to understand what I was seeing. Then, with one slow, impossible movement, it shifted, turning its head a full 180 degrees, even though it was already upside down. I stumbled backward, nearly slipping on the slope. When I looked again, the ceiling was empty. My phone buzzed again. Another unknown number. This time, a video file. I opened it with shaking hands. It was footage of me walking alone through the tunnel. Except in the corner of the frame, something followed me on the ceiling. A shadow with too many limbs. I dropped my phone. The video kept playing, the audio distorted with faint whispers. And that's when I realized. Whatever was in this tunnel was getting closer. I forced myself to keep going, even though every instinct screamed to turn back. I told myself I needed proof, something to show my friends. But the truth is, I think the tunnel wanted me to go deeper. The air became thick enough to taste. Like old infection mixed with damp stone. My flashlight dimmed again, struggling to stay alive. When I finally reached the bottom, the tunnel opened into a square room. My beam shook across the space, revealing a broken stretcher, rusted rails, and dark stains on the floor. I heard breathing. Not mine. Not human. Slow. Wet. Rasping breaths. I turned toward the corner. And that's when I saw it. A tall figure stood facing the wall. Almost touching the ceiling. Its limbs impossibly long, its spine bent in angles that made my stomach twist. Its head slowly tilted, not turning, just tilting, like it was listening to something inside the concrete. My flashlight flickered once. Twice. On the third flicker, it turned toward me. Its eyes were bottomless pits. Its mouth stretched open too wide, too slowly. And then the whispers started. Not from the creature, but from the walls. The floor. The ceiling. Whispers layered over each other like thousands of voices speaking at once. My flashlight went dark. Everything disappeared. Except the sound of something rushing toward me in the pitch black. I don't remember running at first. I think my brain shut down from pure terror. 1 second I was frozen in the dark. The next, I was sprinting up the slope, slipping, clawing at the walls, desperate to get away from the whispers swallowing the tunnel. They grew louder as I climbed, like the voices were crawling after me, filling the space behind me. Something scraped the floor. Something breathed against my ear. Something tapped the wall beside me with inhuman rhythm. Halfway up, my flashlight flickered back on for a split second. And in that moment, I saw it. The tall figure. Crawling on all fours up the slope. Its limbs bending backward. Its mouth open in a silent scream. Its eyes locked on me. I pushed myself harder, nearly tripping, my legs burning. The air grew warmer near the top, and for a moment I thought I might actually make it out. When I burst through the tunnel entrance, the cold disappeared instantly. The night air felt normal, almost safe. But behind me, from deep inside the tunnel, I heard 3 taps. Slow. Deliberate. Tap. 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 I didn't look back. I ran to my car, slammed the door, and didn't stop driving until I was miles away. I told myself it was over. But I was wrong. Terribly wrong. I didn't sleep that night. Every sound in my house felt too sharp, too close. I kept checking the corners of my room, the ceiling, the walls. At 2:37 a.m., my phone buzzed on the nightstand. No caller ID. No message. Just a single video. My stomach dropped when I opened it. It was footage from inside the death tunnel. But it wasn't recorded from my phone. It was recorded from somewhere deeper. Somewhere I never reached. The tall figure stood in the center of the room, its head turning slowly toward the camera. Toward me. Then the frame cut to a close-up of its eyes. Empty black pits. And reflected inside those pits was my room. My bed. My window. And me. Lying there, frozen. I dropped the phone. Then came the tapping. Not on the window. Not on the floor. On my bedroom wall. The exact same rhythm I heard halfway down the death tunnel. Tap. 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 I held my breath, praying it would stop. But after a few seconds, something tapped back. Not from outside. From inside the wall. And every night since, always between 2 and 3 a.m., the tapping returns. Sometimes it's closer. Sometimes farther. But last night, I heard it right beside my ear. And I finally understood. I didn't escape the death tunnel. I brought it home with me.